Imagine handing over your entire life savings to one man. Not just you. Billionaires did it. Celebrities did it. Charities did it. Even banks did it. They all trusted him completely. He wore expensive suits. He spoke with total confidence. He even became the chairman of NASDAQ. But behind that perfect smile, behind that Wall Street reputation, was the biggest financial lie America has ever seen. This is the true story of Bernie Madoff, the greatest con man in American history. Bernie Madoff grew up in Queens, New York, a normal kid from a normal neighborhood. But by the 1980s and 1990s, he had become one of the most powerful names on Wall Street. He built his own investment firm. He helped shape how stocks were traded electronically. And eventually, he became the chairman of NASDAQ, one of the most powerful stock exchanges in the world. To the outside world, Bernie Madoff was untouchable. Rich people trusted him because other rich people trusted him. Celebrities invested their fortunes with him. Charities trusted him with their donations. Even experienced financial experts believed he was some kind of genius. And that trust became his deadliest weapon. Madoff promised something that every investor dreams of: steady profits every single year, no big losses, no bad months, no matter what the market did. And for decades, it seemed to work perfectly. People kept giving him more and more money. Billions of dollars poured in. But here is the dark truth that nobody knew. Bernie Madoff was barely investing the money at all. Instead, he was running something called a Ponzi scheme. Here is how it worked. New investors would hand him money. That money was secretly used to pay the older investors their fake profits. Round and round it went. The profits were fake. The trades were fake. The account statements were fake. Everything was one giant illusion. But the illusion looked so perfect that nobody questioned it. And the more successful he appeared, the more people begged to give him their money. But not everyone was fooled. A financial analyst named Harry Markopolos sat down one day and studied Madoff's investment returns very carefully. Within minutes, he knew something was deeply wrong. The numbers were mathematically impossible. No legitimate investment strategy could produce results like this. Markopolos went to U.S. regulators. He warned them, then warned them again and again, for years. But almost nobody listened. Why? Because Bernie Madoff was too famous, too respected, too powerful. People trusted the reputation more than they trusted the evidence. And so, the fraud continued. Then came 2008. The global financial crisis hit hard. Stock markets crashed. Panic spread across the entire world. Thousands of Madoff's investors suddenly wanted their money back, all at once. But there was one catastrophic problem. The money was gone. There was nothing left. No investments, no profits, no savings. Just emptiness behind the curtain. Madoff's entire empire collapsed almost overnight. His own sons turned him into the FBI, and the world finally learned the devastating truth. An estimated $65 billion had simply vanished. Families lost their entire retirement savings. Charities that helped thousands of people were forced to shut down. Some victims lost absolutely everything. The man once celebrated as a financial genius was actually the biggest fraudster in the history of Wall Street. In 2009, Bernie Madoff stood before a judge and pleaded guilty. He was sentenced to 150 years in prison. 150 years. The man once worshipped by Wall Street died behind bars in 2021. But his story became more than just a crime story. It became a warning. A warning that the most dangerous criminals don't always hide in dark alleys. Sometimes they sit in expensive offices. They shake your hand firmly, they look you straight in the eye, and they smile, like they have nothing to hide. Bernie Madoff fooled the entire world for nearly 5 decades, not with violence, not with weapons, not with threats, but with something far more powerful: trust. And maybe that is what makes his story so deeply terrifying. Because the biggest scams in history only work when people